Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit View Time. Today we've got Magic Factory's latest release. This is the 1/48 scale A-4M Skyhawk. And boy have we been waiting for this particular kit. Now let's face it, I've built one or two of the legendary Hasegawa 1/48 scale Skyhawks, and to be honest with you, again, a little bit like all of their kits of that era. So we're thinking the Phantom family, the sort of Starfighters, scooters, things like that. They were so ahead of their time. They still hold up brilliantly today, and there's companies out there that are still releasing them and reboxing them. We've seen them obviously in Edard's limited edition boxings as well, and to be honest, it's a really good solid kit. It's got everything you could want as a modeler. Again, there's loads of aftermarket available now as well, so yeah, it's one of those kits, but it's a little bit long in the tooth, a little bit like the Starfighter and the Hornets and things like that. They're just looking a little bit old now, and now we've got a brand new tooled one done by Magic Factory, and I must admit, I'm really excited about this one since it was announced. So in the box, you can see beautiful box art. We've just got in there Jetson center tank, all right, and then obviously we've got them fitted with rockets and some snake eyes underneath there, looking very, very nice indeed. And I do like a nice bit of box art, so you've got it there. So quick run around on the box. We've got the Battenberg, as I'm going to refer to it as. If you know what a Battenberg is, you'll know exactly what I mean from that one. And we've got other ones down in here as well. There's your Battenberg version on there. It's just, I think it's just different and really, really cool. That's quite nice. So your kit number for this one is 5002. It is a 2-in-1 kit, but don't get confused. You don't get two Skyhawks, unfortunately. There's two different variants in there. I know, I don't understand it either. Anyway, we got the big old Zoomy rockets down in there as well, or the Zuni rockets, I should say. All right, so you got those in there as well. We've got some big old Mark 82s, the 500 pounders down in there as well, and we've got some smaller 250 pound Snake Eye retarded, and obviously we get a couple of drop tanks as well, which is quite nice with the kit. Other box arting just down in there. All right, so inside the box, which is sealed, so we just need to pop that. Didn't realise it was sealed, to be honest. We have. Dun, dun, dun. It's going to go. Come on. There we go. We've got, as you can see, a stuffed box down in here. So we've got a pilot seat for it. Talking about there, I assume that's a little bit of a correction down on that one, which is fair enough. And then we've got it. Usual thing. It's all separate bagged. Very, very nice. Staple bags as well down in these ones. And again, so multiple parts. Crikey, is that an engine? Now, I've deliberately not gone too into much depth with this particular kit, purely because I wanted to have a proper nice look at it, if you know what I mean, without getting a bit sidetracked with all the stuff. So we've got rocket pods and things like that, clear parts, looks like they're protected as well. Got your snake eyes down in that one, Mark 82s, and then we've got the fuselage halves down in there like that. Then we've got, I take it this is a bag full of ballast, which I've never seen it done like that before, but hey ho, all right, we'll look at that in a moment. A little bit of photo etch for the canopy bow, it looks like, and some of the little fences on there. A mast set, which I don't know if that's cut, we'll check that in a moment as well. We've got some rubber tyres. Now, you know my theory on rubber tyres, I'm not a fan of them, and I don't know why companies do it. Anyway, down in there, and we've got some other little bits for harnesses as well, so they're actually done in a little bit of the old rubber. We've got mirrors, so we've got your rear view mirror as well, which are quite nice little touch. Decals, we'll look at those in a moment. And then down in here we have got the instructions, and we've got a big old colour pull-out sheet, and that's going to unfurl. I'm going to need a wider lens. All right, so as always down in here, we will start in the instructions. So starting off down in here, what I'm want to look at is if this can be different versions coming down the line, and it looks like it does. Just off the bat, looking at the actual sprues and how they're laid out and things like that, we're expecting other versions to come down as well. Anyway, moving straight into this one. So usual things, just take your time. All right, know which version you're going to be doing. So if you're going to be doing the early version or the late version, that's why it's called a 2-in-1. You can do both versions in here. All right, so just pay attention to which version you're doing. All right, so starting off with the seat, Very nice, separate cushions, things like that, which are always quite good. And you've got these little rubber parts, which are on this little guy here, is what you're going to make all the straps and your harnesses out of, which is fair enough. Then we're down into the cockpit. So again, depending if you're doing early or late, depending if obviously you're going to get it with a little screen and the various different things down in here for the gun sight and stuff like that. All right. So we've got those down in there. Looking down in here, we're working on the actual front wheel well. Got all the piping and the bits and pieces going down in there. You've got your rudder pedals going on top, and then obviously it's going to come down and going to slide down over the top and fit down in there. Rear bulkhead going in makes up your actual cockpit area itself. Then we come over to the side. So again, you've got to open up some of the holes for some of the bits and pieces down in here, clearly labelled and marked out as well on there. Then we've obviously got the sides being fitted down into this, the inside of the actual speed brakes going down in there, and obviously we've got the inside of the actual cockpit walls being fitted. Nice little touch with this, and if you're wondering why it's got a window, we have got a little bit of engine detail. We don't have a full engine, but we've got it where we need it. So say if you've got the access panel open on the side, you can see the engine detail down in there as well. So we've got the actual intake section and this little bit of engine, and we've got an exhaust being fitted down in between, and then you're sandwiching it all together. Then obviously we've got the intake doors on the insides being fitted onto this one. We've got the first part of the sort of electronic bay and radome and all the rest of it being fitted down into here as well. And then obviously some of the smaller parts being fitted into that one. Then we've got inside and outer covers for the intake, so that's nice. So we don't have to worry about anything from the actual ejector pin point of view on there, which is quite nice. Then we've got the outsides fitting on. Now that will be one of those areas we want to have a close look at to see how that's going to fit in. Then we're moving down over the front, obviously, depending on which version you're doing. So obviously it's got different HUDs on it. You're going to obviously be fitting it down in here with the actual instrument panel cover being fitted over this one, or on the newer type. Lots of holes to open up on the bottom. All right, so you're going to be opening all of those up. And then we've got the wheel wells being fitted in, which was clearly a highlight, to be honest, on the old Hasegawa kit, because it was really nicely molded detail on that one. So anyway, we've got all of those being fitted in. We've got to do a little bit of trimming and things being filled down in here as well for the actual edges. So getting all of those sorted out. And then obviously we've got the rear parts of this. It's a little bit higgledy-piggledy the way they've done all of this, because let's face it, Hasegawa did it in one and did a really nice job. This is all separately molded in, but it could be for different slight versions on this and things like that. But anyway, that's all being fitted down in there on the lower part of the wing. Then you're sandwiching both halves of the wings together, which it looks like you're using rubber grommets down into those as well, so fitting those all in. All right, and then it all drops down onto the actual main fuselage itself. All right, does look to be a little bit complicated for all of that. Then obviously fitting in the front, so we've got the gun pods being fitted in, depending if you're having them closed or open, so obviously showing the guns or not. Then we've got the actual exhaust nozzle being fitted, the housing and the radar warning receivers fitted to the rear. Those being fitted on. The giant slats on the front, we've got a little bit of photo etch being fitted onto those as well, which is quite a nice touch. All right, and then obviously going right the way through, depending if you're having them in or out. All right, then we're moving down into the tail. So down in here, again, a little bit of trimming involved, just down the back here, opening up some little bits and pieces being fitted, and then this fitted in. I'm wondering if this is going to be a moving tail, the way that they've designed that. I think it actually is. So we'll have to see that again, but it does look like it's got a moving tail. So we've got that one all fitted down there. In fact, it shouldn't be a moving tail, it just fits in. But anyway, we've got those going in there, which looks like a weird way, and again, slightly overcomplicated way of doing it, but hey ho. Those are fitted in there, and then obviously we've got the ailerons fitted down onto the back separate, so you could have them in deflections. And then obviously if it all being fitted and coming together down in here, again, depending on which tops you're doing, if you're doing the one with the actual the bulge on the roof or not, things like that, right the way through it. Again, you've got options down in there all the way. Then we're moving over to the hump on the top, which is the electronics bay, which I prefer this version of the A4 because of that, having the scooter with the hump on the top just makes it look a little bit more beefy. All right, so that one being fitted down into there. Then obviously down in here, we've got the flaps being fitted down into this one. Right the way through. They're big, they're red, they're great, have them out and showing. All right, and then obviously major control surfaces as well, so we got the actual ailerons being fitted down onto the outside as well, so very nice as well. Then onto the back end, so depending on various things as well, so down in here we've actually got the hook being installed onto it as well, and we've got the rear housing, and then obviously some of the little covers being fitted to the front and various parts going down in there. Main gear goes through, again, 2 hubs and tyre Not a fan, if I'm honest. All right, and then obviously we've got the other bits all fitting in. It's a gangly gear, I'm hopeful, and it does look like it's got nice big securing tabs and posts to put all of that in, because it is a little bit gangly. Doors being fitted, pretty much standard. And then obviously we've got down in here, depending if you want them open or closed. So obviously we've got the bay doors open for obviously showing off the engine and the intakes, or you can close it all up. Now we've got the different sections down in here as well, which draws this kit completely away from all the others, because we've actually got all the sort of housing bays in the nose section, so you can show all of this off. So all the little electronic bits and pieces being fitted down into the nose, and again, so it's a really detailed part. We've got all the covers and the bits and pieces, so you can show it open or closed if you want to. You can hinge it open or closed if you want to with the nose section as well. So if you wanted to do that, as I say, closed up or the open position, massive difference to obviously the old classic Hasegawa one. Then you've got the last bit of the nose, so if you wanted to, you could have, like here, the nose open and open again, or you could just have it all closed up. If you could have it closed up, go and buy the Hasegawa kit, trust me. All right, but if you're not, and you do want to show it, which why wouldn't you, it's all there ready to go. All right, and then we've got the weapon base, so we've got sway braces being fitted onto that. We've got the angle of attacks, we've got the refueling probe being fitted onto this one as well. Then we've got the actual drop tanks, we've got the Zuni rockets, we've got a triple ejector rack, we've got a multiple ejector rack down in there as well. So if you do want to load it up with some Zumis and some Mark 82s, you know, or if you want to put some retarded snake eyes onto it, things like that, you can knock yourself out. Last up, the canopy. So we've got internal canopy frame going into the clear part. Again, very nice touch, definitely an upgrade. And then obviously we've got the posts with the covers. So if you want to, you could have the covers onto this one as well. So if you want to close up all that work you've done, you can do. And we've got a nice boarding ladder with the actual post that it slides into as well, which is a very nice touch. Last up, we've obviously got the mirrors, so it shows about those. And obviously we've got the various bits around the front for the mask set. And then obviously we've got the masks as well, as we know, for doing them. So it's quite nice. We've got one for doing the black area, the anti-glare panel on the front as well. Normally those tend to be a decal like Hasegawa, slap it over the front. Then you've got your different versions. So again, you've got your Diamondbacks one, clearly very, very nice. All right, in the usual sort of high vis markings, as we call it, right the way through. So you've got that nice one on there, so obviously with the white and with the gold grey, very nice indeed. Or something completely different, which when I get around to building this, I'm going to have to do because I've never seen it before, but it's the Battenberg version. So as you can see, it's opposites. So head on, you'll have it, you know, obviously with the sort of squares, 4 squares. Underneath, it's going to be left and right. So again, nice, interesting scheme, something a little bit different as well. So I really do like that. And there you have them just down in there. So off the instructions, it looks like it's very, very nice. Okay, then we've got these, which I will endeavour to try and show you. So it's a giant pull-out, which is bigger than the real thing, which is a bit weird. All right, but anyway, very nice to have it. Sort of doubles up as a poster if you wanted to. But again, really nice in the sort of classic gull and white. I just love that colour scheme with them. It's really, really nice. You do plenty with weathering on these ones. So that's really nice for the Diamondbacks. And then on this side, as you can see, Battenberg. So we say black up there, black down in here, white and white. So, and again, really very, very nice scheme. I just think that's really, really cool. And I've never seen it until actually this kit. So very nice indeed. So from 1975, New Mexico, for the evaluation of test squadron. Very nice. Okay, so we'll just pop down into some of this small stuff. So down in here, we got a little bit of photo etch, which is fair enough. All right, so we got down in there. We've got a metal pitot as well. So it's nice that we actually get the pitot tube with it as well. We've got a, I'm going to have to open this up because I want to see, I hate staples, because they always stab under my nail, but we'll have a look just under here because I want to know if these are actually die cut or if it's just like Tamiya do it. No. Okay, so you're going to have to cut around the line on this to put these ones through. All right, but there we go. You can see down in there, you've got your photo etch and that. But really nice that you've got this area. Not only you've got the canopy, which is fair enough, but this area around in here for actually masking up as well. So that's quite cool. All right, so we've got that. Let me just, I'm really worried about losing that pitot tube, to be honest. So I'm just going to be extremely careful with that. Pop it in a tray. We also get the mirrors. So these are little tiny stick-on mirrors, which is fair enough. Obviously, you've got spares. We have got as I say, some shot. Doesn't feel very heavy, but I'm sure it is. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. Now, where you stick that, I don't remember seeing it in the instructions. Did anyone remember seeing it in the instructions? I don't remember seeing it in the instructions whatsoever. So where they're saying about popping this in, because my worry is if they're on about sticking it in the nose, when you're gluing it in position, that's going to be a lot of weight that's going to want to drop the nose down. Unless I'm missing something, it's not actually mentioning where you shove it, but you know what I mean. All right, so we've got that down in there, and then again we've got these tires, which are not massively brilliant, but okay, they're there. We've also got obviously little harnesses, harnesses, and again this little area down in here. But yeah, don't know how I feel about that. We'll have to get back on that. Whilst we're here and we're looking at the detailed stuff, let's have a quick look in the clear parts at the beginning for a change. So again, beautifully protected in a little sealed bag. Actually, they look really very, very tasty. Good, crystal clear. We've got no seam lines in them at all, which is very, very nicely done. To be honest, got decent chunky edges to them as well. Yeah, no, that's actually really very, very nice. Very, very nice clear parts indeed. So no problem with those. Clarity is very, very good as well, as you can probably see. And again, down in here, we've got the lights and things. And again, all looking very, very nice with those. And again, beautifully protected. So we'll just pop that back in there and re-stick. And then just pop that in here. So very, very nice. Okay, let's get into some of the good stuff. So fuselage halves, as you can see, very, very nice, beautifully riveted, really very, very sharp. Looks good. Very cool. Again, very, very fine recess. You can probably see it riveting, details all the way through. We've got raised down underneath, so obviously we've got the flare and shaft buckets, or probably just flare on these, down in here underneath. Again, looking very nice indeed. In the internals, good, clean, sharp details all the way through. So let me just grab the other one. You can see, very, very nice indeed. So yeah, actually that, you know, and again, we're looking for why we would spend the extra money on this kit over the Hasegawa one. This is definitely one reason. The surface detail is a lot nicer. It's a lot cleaner, a lot sharper. Again, it's an interesting way that they've done this intake business. I know why they've done it, because obviously they can make it then without anything on the inside. But hopefully it's got a really nice deep channel down in there, so the part will just fit perfectly in there. The inside will have a nice, but honestly, the amount of detail you'll see, I'm worried about an ejector pin in that mark. I don't know. To be honest, you can't really see it. But that does look very, very nice indeed. Okay, let's have a look at the wings. So, wing sections, as you can see, looks to be a little bit more heavier, if I'm honest, than the Hasegawa kit is. You can probably see it just here before we go on the close-up. And then on the close-up, you can see it looks a little bit heavy, but also the quality of the plastic is this funny colour which shadows stand out very, very well. It doesn't look as bad to my naked eye on this. It does look nice. Now the vortex generators down in here are beautifully done, incredibly sharp, very, very nicely done indeed, and with all the panels, so that's quite nice. Then down on here on the wing section, again, if we catch it, you've got all that gorgeous riveting, all that detail. And again, you can probably see from the shininess how well the recesses are done. You catch them in the light, they're that polished even in the recesses. That's very nice. Very, very sharp. Again, now it sort of makes sense. You've got the wiring down on here as well. It's like a 3D effect. So it's not up against the roof. I sort of get it. And again, we've got all these tabs, depending if you want it up or down, whichever one you're going to remove. So again, we've actually got these ones down in here for the different, you know, with the flaps and things going down in here. The actual control surfaces, which are very nice indeed. We've got the doors. And again, this is the inside of those wheel wells. Highly, highly detailed. Very, very nice. I just don't know why they didn't mold it in one. But there you go. Is anyone going to see that much detail? And again, some of the lumps and bumps for the outsides, the parts. Very nice. Internally, as I say, we've got these little areas here, depending if you'll have it. So what you're going to have to do is nick out a bit. So you're just going to take a knife, come in, and if you want it flaps up or down, you're going to have to cut, open it up. Just seems a bit of a faff, to be honest. So anyway, there it is. That's very nice indeed. Okay, so now I think we'll just go through no particular order. So next up, we've got the tail area. We've got those engine covers, intakes, slats, various things down in here as well. And again, yeah, the level of detail, we're talking about the price of this kit, because let's face it, it's not the cheapest. But we've got like internals to the slats. So we don't have any ejector pins to worry about, which is fair enough. And again, the detail down on the tail is head and shoulders above anything we've seen. All right, we've got the outer parts of the doors. So these down in here, I don't know. Does it move? I didn't know it actually moved. Does the entire tail move? Perhaps the entire tail moves, and I've never known all these years, but hey ho. All right, so that's looking quite nice. Inside the wheel well, down in there like that. Looks good. Do you know what? I reckon that does. I reckon it moves up and down. If it does move up and down the entire tail, let me know in the comments, because I've never known that, and I've known this aircraft for many, many years. I didn't realise the entire tail moved up and down, but it looks like it does, looking at the design and the brackets on it. See, every day's a school day. All right. So down in here, we've got the various small parts. So again, this one down in here has got the little lump because it's got the pipe work coming out and the various things. And again, just so we're on this side, you can see the insides of the doors. One thing I will say of Magic Factory, the blind side, as in, you know, the offside to this one, they don't have to do a good job on them. You know, like the wheel wells down on this side as well for the main gear. Really, really beautifully done. There is no difference between the blind side and the top side on their kits. They are very, very nice. Again, the vortex generators just down on here on the front of these leading edge slats. Nice, sharp, good, crisp. Very nice. Different types down on here. So we've got the vent running off the tail or without. So again, this is that 2-in-1 business. I know it caused a little bit of confusion with people thinking you got two kits, and actually you don't. It's one kit, two versions. Speaking of which, this is the kits with all your versions on. So down in here, you've got sprues F, H, and G. All right, down in here. And then down, the reason for this is that on J, all right, you've got the different instrument panels. So if we, probably it's better this way up, you can see down in here, it's more sort of tapered in at the top, more going to a triangle than the rounded off version just down in here. So again, just the different versions between the older and late versions. Side consoles as well are different between the kits, so you get both types in here. So that's what it's talking about. Obviously, we've got the nose as well, slightly different to the later one with the radar warning receivers on here. So that's why we actually get it. And then down in here, last of all, we've got the difference with the pod on the top and obviously the one without the pod. So that's your sprue with a lot of your major differences on there. And again, they're all beautifully done, very, very nicely done. Okay, so next up we have, really is a highlight to see a bit of engine. I know it's sad, but sprue you, as they say. But yeah, actually very, very nice indeed. So on sprue you, we have these bits of engine, which it's a real shame there's not more of it. But what there is beautifully done. Very, very nicely done. Some good detail down in there. It looks very nice as well. We've got the intakes. So again, we've got the outer part and the inner part down in here. That intake cone leading to the first stage, the compressor, looking very nice indeed. We've got the insides down in here of those intakes, which are very, very nicely done. There's some very fine riveting down in there that you're never going to see. And with the actual side doors as well, where it blows it in. Down in here, we've got the bulkhead. So this is obviously the forward bulkhead from the cockpit to that first bit with all the electronics in and the various stuff like that. And then down in here, we've got your access doors and your ports and your scoops and everything else. And then down in here, we've got your exhaust as well. Wheel hubs looking very nice and sharp indeed. We've got the actual framework as well for the formers for that nose section. And then last up in here, again, I hate it when it's in two halves. I was really hopeful it would be in one because you've got a center seam to take care of it. And there's quite a little bit of detail on this. Hasegawa were guilty of it as well. To be honest, the Hasegawa one never really made a nice fit on the nose section on the front end of it either. Hopefully this will be better. But I was just hoping that perhaps they might have done this as a one piece with the bulge on the top. Unfortunately not. Down on the blind side, as I say, we've got these access panels and ports, things like that. As you can see, looking very, very nice indeed. So yeah, very good. Okay, now we've got the cockpit blanky bits, if you like. So obviously we've got your detailed bits depending on which one you're doing. So this is sprue D. And again, lots of bits and pieces going down on here. Highlight for me, to be honest with you, is the bays are very, very nicely done. They've actually got a really nice, sharp, I would say, in scale feel to them with the actual recess around them. So hopefully if you do them close, you'll just drop the bits in and there'll be a nice fit all the way on those ones. All right. We've got your access ladder. We've got your central pylon down in there as well. We've got the cushions, the various bits and pieces, the doors. Internals of the speed brakes, very nicely done. Externals, very nicely done as well on those ones. And then again, you've got your seat parts. This down in here is your canopy area for inside your canopy. These big hooks, if you're wondering, that's for the launch. There's no catapult, what they call it, shuttle system on these ones. It's the old-fashioned cable. It's the old grab it and fling it job. All right. Down in here, we've got some blanks. Obviously, this is for the intake covers, which is quite a nice touch with those. And then down over here, we've got your cockpit parts. So we've got your sidewall details, we've got the nice quilting effects, things like that, very nice. It feels like it's slightly overdone, all of these panels, access panels, but do you know what? I think it'll really work very, very well, especially if you're doing a more weathered look, because they'll stand out really nice. If they're a little bit too faint, I think they just don't work. And again, another nice touch to it as well is obviously with the pitot, sorry, not pitot, the refueling probe with the actual probe end on it is nicely detailed as well. I know some of us might just want to go down the aftermarket route for one, but that's not too bad. And again, with this panel, it's a nice blank one for the actual cockpit, but you've got quilting around that center as well down by the rudder pedals. So again, very, very nice. Good and clean. Okay, last up, we can just have a quick mosey through the weapons. So if we just start with the drop tanks. So obviously we've got two of all of these. Again, really nice. So we've got raised detail right the way through, and then obviously with the backs and things like that. So again, very, very nice indeed. And again, you've got the ones with the feet, as I call them, at the back, or you could have it just with the blank on there for the center tank. Very nice. So it looks like you've got two. So you're either going to go two on the wings or just one center. If you're going to go with the center, then obviously you've got the one without the little winglets on there. You've just got that one, which is quite nice. Okay, so let's go Zuni rockets. To be honest, I don't think we need to get these out. What I do like, though, is separate heads. So you can actually do it and just put one in it. Or you could put all four or none at all as if it's fired them all. Nice touch. Very, very good. We've all seen Mark 82s and that. This is the usual nightmare of having to put them all together. So again, very, very nice. Although you could do it deployed, which some of us might want to do. Okay, bigger sort of Mark 82s. Very nice as well. And then down in here, we will have a look at, see how this compares to the Hasegawa weapon set. We've got the multiple ejector racks, obviously, and we've got the triple ejector rack. And to be honest, they actually look very, very nice. Lovely detail. A little bit more detail than I think we've seen perhaps on the Hasegawa sets and anybody else's. So good. But what I do like about it, it is so clean and crisp. And to be honest with you, that's the story of this kit. It's a beautiful, clean, crisp, very, very sharp rendition of the A4. I think the panel lines may be just a little bit heavily done around the access panels, but that could be a light thing. They're that well molded and that sharp and crisp. I think that's what it is. I think if they were a little bit softer, you probably wouldn't notice it, but they're that well done. I think that's the problem with it, that it's one of those. At the end of the day, I know this kit has come in for some criticism about its price, especially when you put it up against the Hasegawa. I'm going to make a simple thing for you. If you want to do a curbside model, like I've done all these years, then you're going to go with the Hasegawa one. If you want to take your little A4, though, up to the next level and perhaps have it opened up, so showing off that engine, perhaps having the entire nose engine and all the rest of it, then this kit is an absolute no-brainer because you've got it all right there. If you can't find the Hasegawa one and you need to do a Skyhawk, then do this one because you've got it all there. You don't have to do it all, it just gives you the opportunity, but you are paying for it in some way. What do I think though? I think this is a worthy successor to the Hasegawa kit. I think the Hasegawa kit has served us so well for the last 25 years that it's just one of those ones. It's an easy, most of us got it in a stash. I've still got it in the stash. And just to grab it and say, look, this is what we've got, you know, and go for it. But if you were like me, you always had to do a little bit of aftermarket into it. So maybe a new seat in there, various little bits and pieces. But apart from that, it's generally a really nice kit. Nowadays, though, if you wanted to show it off, then this is the way you're going to go. It's got cartograph decals as well, so that's really nice. You've got some nice mask set with it. You've got a few nice little extras in this kit already, which makes it head and shoulders against anything else that's out there at the moment. So I would have to say I highly recommend it. It's a great kit and I'm going to go out and build it.